So, this is the Lego dimension. I have just detected a more limited power source in my chassis. Fuel levels are dangerously low. I must address this discrepancy at my earliest opportunity. In the meantime, however, I have a job to do, and that job involves the upgrading and fortifying of this rebel outpost. With all that out of the way, let's begin. By the way, for the audience watching, I am V4F151. I am a Kashyyyk Mark II destroyer, a derivative of the Kashyyyk Felino assassin droid. I and my unit were sent to the SDA as a gift and a warning. The Chrome series destroyers are not destroyed. They have returned and are plotting against us. Even with the Herald gone, they have a frightening autonomy, and they have pledged full allegiance to the army of the last reality. So, first order of business, giving the poor Wookiee a bed. At least, that's what Agent Fulcrum called him. Not entirely sure what a Wookiee is, but she has us covered there. A Wookiee sleeping platform? Sounds like a suitable bed to me. Oh, systems are running on empty, and I am losing power. I do not have an adequate fuel source in my backpack. I am running on fumes, and if I can't attend to this situation soon, I will shut down. Energy levels are at 75% and dropping. The closest thing I have to a fuel source is raspberry seeds, pumpkin seeds, corn kernels, and wheat grains. Given my usual fuel source of human foods courtesy of Kashyyyk, seeds and animal treats are incompatible with my systems. Agent Fulcrum has dubbed this chest enemy loot, listing off items such as wolf claws, plastoid, roller shells, glass, blast powder, blast cores, and even brute scales. She then warned that if I came across a brute, which looked like a giant reptilian creature, I was to not engage unless I was absolutely sure I could take it down, suggesting a very formidable foe. Even though she specifically mentioned enemies, some items sound like they come off of creatures, so I don't believe she'll mind if a little wool from a sheep is also present in the chest. It meets 42% of the criteria she listed, so logic dictates that it's fine. Now running at 25% power. The situation is growing dire. I can't delay any further. So, where would some suitable fuel sources be? What is that up there? Some food perhaps? The color is very similar to raspberry seeds. Closing in on the unidentified fruit for investigation. They are in fact raspberries. I will soon be testing them for compatibility with my systems. The results should come rather swiftly. As in, my systems will either reject them, and I shut down anyway, perhaps even faster, or it will accept them, and my fuel percentage will rise. Raspberries are compatible with my systems. My fuel level has risen to 70%. That is a 70% rise from zero. Now moving on with the rest of my mission. So, where should I go from here? I mean, I still have yet to give the Wookiee a bed. Statistically, sleep is a great way to heal and recover strength. Getting a full 8 hours can mean the difference between energetic and lethargic. Also, it's recommended by most to get, at minimum, 6 hours just to function, although some say 7 hours. Either way, 6 to 8 hours is recommended to function. And extremities in sleep can cause health problems. Too little sleep, you don't have energy to function. Too much sleep affects your heart and brain negatively as well, possibly leading to heart disease, diabetes, stroke, and heart failure. But do me for saying that it will cause those problems. There's no evidence that it is directly responsible. However, it increases the risk. Anyway, let's move on from the topic of too little versus too much sleep. Traveling to bus stop. I have a large variety of missions to do, from driving to visit 3 biomes without leaving the driver's seat to defeating rollers and blasters in caves. And I've heard that I have a perfect vehicle to help me out with that. So let's get to it. It may also be worth researching the types of food in this dimension, and their compatibility with my systems. For the most part, if it's edible to organics, it's compatible to battle droid systems. But I still don't want to take any chances. Unidentified orange objects ahead. Moving to investigate. It's some sort of plant. Pumpkin. Recording to database. Due to size, I would guess that it would fill my fuel tank more. But are there any side effects that I should be wary of? That's the whole point of my research into these new food items. Also collecting raspberries to act as a fuel source if pumpkins are incompatible, or if not incompatible, uncommon. One thing that I've heard about this reality is that, even if I shut down, it's not permanent. This is similar information to the main island, wherein murder is extremely hard to pull off. Every time an opponent gets eliminated, they respawn. Only during certain parts of the season. If someone's time is up, they can't escape their doom. Otherwise, they respawn, rinse, lather, and repeat until the day of reckoning. Time to defend myself. Combat mode activated. I'm also making progress on a mission to deal ranged damage. Such missions are the bread and butter of the 7 reserve forces, and so it's my job to complete them, especially if they are directly linked to a reward. Now heading back to the bus stop. I believe I heard that the 7 reserves have a whole system of bus stops on the mainland. Either that, or they said that an ally had one. I'm about to figure out which it is. Searching map for appropriate bus stop. What, and where, is this? Perhaps I was wrong about the 7 reserves having that bus stop system. Or maybe my map is simply glitched out. Only one way to find out. The countdown to rifting onto the mainland has begun. 2, 1, and rift. Destination, currently uncharted territory. I personally have never been here before, so I don't know what to expect. All I know is what I heard from Research Team Lima, of which I'm the newest member, and that is the fact that they have been working on the rebel outpost, and that they have a few bases on the mainland. I don't recognize my surroundings, but that's nothing new. I just need to identify what the bases look like, and where I should be going from here. The map glitch has not cleared. I may have to find the bases without it. Isn't that just swell? Panning map for details. Wait, that's where the mainland bases are. Why is this bus station so far away? I suppose that answers that. They don't have a bus stop system. Our allies do. But honestly, how hard would that be to accomplish? If our allies can do it, why can't we? This whole situation does not compute. Although, looking back at the mission called Battle Bus, the mission to build a bus station is still there, which means our allies must have found nearby stations, instead of having built them. Heading back to Rebel Outpost Station, waiting for the rift to activate again. Agent Fulcrum said that there was another way to travel between the mainland and Rebel Outpost, and it's as primitive as they come, a cave system. But, if that cave system is the fastest way back to the mainland where we built bases, I have no room to be picky. I will just have to suck it up, and do the best I can. She also stated that the cave system in question was marked by the rebel insignia, so that should be easy enough to find. I just need to look at the insignia of the rebel outpost, and look for that insignia elsewhere. Location of cave system confirmed. Making my way to it. Maybe I'll even get close enough through skydiving that I can glide the rest of the distance. I can only hope, but it looks like I'm pretty high in the sky. Depending on how fast I can move through the air, skydiving in this manner could be the fastest way there. Already taken out of the equation are hills and trees, meaning I can at least head there using the fastest path, a straight line. It looks like my calculations were correct. I am currently 24 meters away. I have landed, preparing to use the cave system to return to the mainland. Entering cave system. I wonder how long this will take before I get to the mainland. I'm now fully inside. Question now is this a straightforward path, or is this cave system a maze? It certainly appears to be a camp. There are communication equipment and supplies all around me. It's actually quite fascinating how these people can make themselves at home in this cave. Then again, this is a cave system linking two countries. This may be mandatory, and thus these guys may be rebel border patrol. Either way, I'm heading back to our country, which, I will be honest, I don't know if our country has an official name yet. To my knowledge, this whole world is the subject of research for the 7 reserves. And, to be quite frank, calling a country a research world would be kind of strange. I could probably come up with a few suggestions, but I don't know whether they would be accepted. 7topia, Droidtopia, the 7 Republic, Confederacy of the 7, Democratic Republic of the 7. The list goes on and on. Wait, this is the vehicle they mentioned? It looks like a helicopter. If I remember correctly from the memory files of the Katutech Tsuki 2.0 units, these are aerial vehicles, and they can hover in the air until they run out of fuel. This really is the best vehicle for a driving mission, for the reasons I mentioned while discussing skydiving towards the cave that I just came out of. For those who have forgotten, flying eliminates hills and trees from the equation, so I can go straight to each biome. I'm not sure what I think about this open roof design. However, with that thruster in the way, I cannot extend it, so I will have to make do. So, with that out of the way, I suppose I will now scan the helicopter to add it to the database. A modified jack-spec rideable helicopter. Understood. So, I have to wonder now if the helicopter is complete, or if it had a part removed to provide said part to another vehicle. Because, in my honest opinion, it does look like it has a part missing, and would likely be unbalanced. Also worthy of note is that lever behind the pilot seat. What purpose does it serve? An emergency shutdown to allow the pilot to leave should the balloons still be activated. Also, but a less likely case, if an accident occurs where the balloons are still active with nobody in the cockpit, but the timing would be tight. Whatever the case, it's there for a reason that I have no further authority to question. Going up, a mission to turn on thrusters while driving has been completed. However, it appears to be prematurely completed, as neither the steering, ascent, nor propulsion thrusters have been activated, which makes this a pretty interesting situation in which I got 175 studs. Speaking of steering and propulsion thrusters, now activating both in my maiden flight. So far, so good. I haven't pressed the wrong button and sent this vehicle hurtling towards the ground yet. And this is certainly a different system of controls than what the Tsukis drove. The ascent thruster paired with the propulsion thruster slightly unbalanced the helicopter. Both cannot be used very long at a time. I also noticed unnaturally colored lightning striking nearby. It was purple, whereas most bolts of lightning are white or blue. However, as it poses no direct threat to me nor the helicopter, I will ignore and disregard the lightning strike. Heading from the rebel border tunnel to the main operating base. That will be where most of our stuff is, both in terms of buildings and supplies. I've also heard that they have organized seeds into a shack that they designated the mess hall of the base. For those of you new to military lingo, that means the place where soldiers eat. This can be a cafeteria, or if it's a mess tent, an outdoor kitchen. Either way, it's a good place to store and cook food. And I intend to make room in my inventory for more useful items, like weapons, fuel sources, or anything else that I might need. I thought trees were eliminated from the equation, but I guess I wasn't high enough for such an advantage. As in, I didn't use my ascending thruster enough. Turning via steering thrusters. Let's really put this vehicle through its paces. We have a whole forest full of trees, so this would be perfect for testing mobility. Damage to front blade detected. Both half of the steering thrusters, and the ascent thruster are located on that blade, so greater caution is recommended for smoother flight. My next question is, relative to my position, where is our main operating base? It appears to be west-southwest of here. So, in which direction would I have to turn in order to go there? Is it right from where I'm facing? Turning right and advancing. I will need to throttle the ascent thruster to gain greater height. Otherwise, those hills and trees could be an issue. Throttling ascent thruster now. Tree collision imminent. Bracing for impact. Damage to left blade detected. The helicopter has been thrown off course. Correcting course and advancing. Another big tree ahead. Activating ascent thruster now. If I can clear the top of that tree, I should be able to get back to our main operating base. Since it'll be a while before I get back, I will scan the surrounding land. There's a lake to my right. There's also another tree ahead. Minor collision detected. Activating steering thrusters. Am I still stuck? Let's leave all thrusters off for a bit. Activating propulsion thruster. I am now free. This is a bit harder than I expected. I will have to practice more with the helicopter before flying through a forest again. There appears to be a bridge there. Did Research Team Lima build that? My map shows that I am now way off course. Correcting course to the main operating base. Throttling ascent thruster again. I will need to get over those tall trees in the distance. As I do, I will scan the surrounding area for future reference. Throttling ascent thruster again. I believe that I'm capable to clear those trees now. Moving to confirm. I made it through. Advancing. Scanning the surrounding area again. I need to learn every landmark in order to navigate from place to place. There appears to be a low temperature area in the distance as well. Does that count as a biome? And where am I in relation to the main operating base now? It may be worth heading to that low temperature area, anyway, and seeing if it is a biome. I need to check my map to see where the main operating base is. I am once again way off course. Correcting course now. En route to main operating base again. As I go, I will have to keep checking the map to see where I am in relation to the main operating base. Checking map now. I am heading west when I should be heading north. Placing beacon to aid in navigation. I should have just done that from the start, but I had confidence in my navigation programming until now. Course corrected. Now 510 meters from the main operating base. This is a very important lesson learned. Waypoints are a feature for a reason, and they should be used more often. Navigating through the hilly forest. The vehicle must have regenerated some, as that strike back there dealt minor damage to the front blade again. As long as it doesn't take catastrophic damage rapidly, it appears to be indestructible. But conditional indestructibility is not full indestructibility. I would have also liked them to make a multiple direction steering helicopter, but I can accept that technology was limited at the time of construction. So, I will deal with having to turn a full circle when turning left. 384 meters left. I am now detecting fog, as if nighttime in a forest wasn't hard enough. However, I refuse to balk at this challenge, and I will make it back, whether in one piece or several. 255 meters to go. Despite all hardships, I'm on the home stretch. Noting location of main operating base in the forest. 152 meters left, and rapidly dropping. The trees seem to have thinned down in this area. So, it's a main operating base in a clearing surrounded by forests. That's smart. It aids with making the base less accessible for enemies, aerial or not. I mean, sure, this helicopter doesn't have the best altitude capabilities, but it's still a basic aerial vehicle, and that's currently good enough for me. I have made it to the main operating base, and currently, I'm a bit surprised. I expected some sturdy buildings or something a bit more grandiose, but it looks like practically every building is some form of shack except a random staircase on one side, and a guard tower on the other. This must be the place where it all began, when they had limited options. And it also appears that they have no intention of upgrading it anytime soon. Mysteriously, the part of the helicopter that I thought was missing has returned to the tail of the helicopter. Albeit, where it comes to balance, it somehow did its part better than the balloons in the front. Though, I guess, then again, the front is heavier than the back. And, balanced or not, the helicopter still performed admirably. I'm just inexperienced with the controls, which is nothing new. I'm inexperienced with everything that has to do with this world, and thus, my role in Research Team Lima becomes clear. Learn, adapt, overcome, and thrive. That was apparently a crop of peppers. I have heard that it helps organics survive the cold desert nights. But I am no organic, so I don't know what it would do for me. Now picking more raspberries for my auxiliary fuel source should others be incompatible or rare.